So here I've got the box out of the car. I cleaned up the front and the residue from the glue from the previous carpet I had. And these are the ports. I have one on right now. I'm basically marking off where the carpet will go to, and I'm going to carpet the box. But I had the CNC cut, so it's basically perfect. You can see here, I routed this edge over here, so it's going to be really nice once it's all done. I've decided to basically just black everything out. I'll show you guys the material I'm going to use in just a bit. But right now I'm just test fitting this. So, you can see I blacked the inside of the port out, both over here and the port itself in the box. Because what I want to do is I want to cover this with the 3M glue spray. That way I could carpet this box right now. And here are the cutouts for the ports in the back. So the port itself is 3.5 inches by I believe 10 or 12. I don't recall the exact measurement. Here is the marine fabric I decided to use. It's by Vivid. It's incredibly strong, just a bit of stretch in it. But this is what I'm going to put on the outside of the trim. But this is not going to go directly on the wood. I've got a 1/4 inch closed cell foam I'm going to put on this, and then the material will go on top. So you can see that the black material and the black spray paint are going to match pretty well, and everything should be pretty nice and dark. So right now, next step is to just mask off both ports and then carpet the top and back of the box around the ports. Okay, so I've got the box masked off, as you can see. The reason I did that is I don't want any overspray from the glue to really get on the box, because I want it nice and clean, especially around the port area. So I'm going to use acetone to basically clean the rest of the box up here, make sure there's nothing left on it from the sanding. And then I'm going to use the spray adhesive on the box and on the carpet itself, and this is the speaker carpet I use. It matches the interior of the car. And basically that's the idea. We're gonna carpet the top of the box, and then we could just install the ports on after. So I've got most of the carpet on the box now. Came out really nice. So now I'm test fitting the front, and I'm gonna start drilling bolt holes for the ports. I'm gonna use the same type of insert nut like I'm using for the front. That way I could remove it at any time without damaging the wood. I've got all the holes drilled for the port. I wanted to show you guys what I use. These are the insert nuts I use. They're 1/4 inch by 20 millimeter. Basically you drill an 11/32 hole, and then you thread these in. They're hex thread, so I use an Allen wrench, but I normally like to put a little bit of Gorilla Glue around the thread because Gorilla Glue expands. So once this is in there all the way set, the glue will expand and it'll harden. That way when you use the actual bolts from the outside, it won't strip out and come out. I've got all of the nuts in the wood. You can see they're basically flush with the wood. And once you clean them up with acetone, there's no extra residue from the Gorilla Glue. I did another layer of black paint I'm waiting to dry. That way, you know, it's going to be as dark as I could get it inside the port itself. Next up, I'm going to be using some of this vinyl foam self-stick weather seal, and I'm basically going to put that around the edge of the port. That way when it mates with the box, there's no air leak. This thing is very squishy, so hopefully with these nuts in, I could use a lot of pressure on the bolts and make sure this squeezes as much as it could go, and the fit is as good as intended. My backup plan is to route a channel if I need to, but I'm hoping I don't have to resort to that. I'd rather have the weather stripping kind of squished down as much as it can. So the box is upside down right now, but I've got the vents installed, I've got the carpet finished, all looking very good. The only thing I'm doing right now is I'm going to clean up the bottom of the box so I can get it installed in the car, because we're pretty much done almost. Last thing to do will be to put the gasket, and then this can go in the car. I could bolt it in. Here's the weather stripping installed. You can see how I locked the corners in and how I cut it at an angle here, so when they squeeze together it should be pretty much airtight. Did the same here at these corners. So once this gets installed, we'll just lock it down really hard, and again, should be pretty airtight. So before I put the box in, I want to show you guys how I did the wires. So I used a bolt through the box with washers, and then I used nuts. That way on the outside, the amplifier wiring can just go on the bolt, and it's a direct, large connection going to the subwoofers. So none of those super skinny, laughably small connectors that you find in normal subwoofer boxes. I find that this, transfers voltage, amperage overall a lot better. So that's a box ready to go in to be bolted, and then the 55-pound subs each hefted into its respective hole. So as I'm going to screw the main bolts that hold the box down, I'm going to use Loctite blue thread locker. That way these things don't rattle out, and it's still removable. So I got one port on. It took a bit of wrangling, and I just wanted to show you just how tight this came in here. It's on really, really tight, so this is definitely going to be airtight. I applied quite a lot of pressure to the bolts. You can see how it's seeping out even from the top. It's so squished in. Alright, the box is bolted down, the ports are in. They're not painted or carpeted yet. I'm not sure what I want to do, but everything is in and very, very solid. Eventually I'm going to use these mounts over here and strap that to the box with a hook or something for, safety in case of a crash or something. But so far, check this out. Front is on, of course, without the fascia. Look at those ports. Look how nicely they're cut out and matched. There's the big EMF banhammer. See the magnet? It's nice and big, plenty of clearance. This is 1.75 cubic feet per subwoofer box. Ports are tuned to exactly what the owner, Sean from EMF, recommended. Same with both the tune and the port area. Don't remember exactly what that is. So I'm going to trim these extra long wires and get the two subs in, fascia, and then I could start work on the amp.